The following is distributed by the Berean Call.
Jesus said, "This generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled." Matthew chapter 24, verse 34. How long is a generation? Was that the generation that saw Israel restored to her land in 1948? If so, how much more time do we have before the fulfillment of Christ's prophecy? Aren't we running out of time?
God told Abraham that his descendants would be slaves for 400 years and would enter Canaan in the fourth generation. Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 to 16. Was a generation 100 years, and thus we have until 2048? Moses said, "The days of our years are threescore years and 10." Psalm chapter 90, verse 10. So had a generation gotten shorter, and we only have to wait until 2018? There's no basis for thinking that Christ meant the generation which would see Israel restored to her land. Furthermore, Israel hasn't been fully restored yet. We know he didn't mean the generation then alive, for that would have been a false prophecy. Preterists say Nero was the Antichrist, and that all these things prophesied by Christ in Matthew chapter 24, verses 1 to 33, came to pass in AD 70 with the destruction of Jerusalem, and that Israel no longer has any place in the prophetic scheme. Preterism is easily disproved. Christ said a tribulation was coming that would be worse than anything before or after. Matthew chapter 24, verse 21. The tribulation of AD 67 to 70 was nothing compared to Hitler's slaughter of 6 million Jews. Verse 22 says, "Except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved." Surely, there was no danger that the weapons available in AD 70 might wipe out all flesh, nor was the tribulation cut short on that account. Verses 29 to 31 mention signs in the heavens, including everyone visibly seeing the Son of Man coming with power and great glory, and the angels with a great sound of a trumpet, gathering together his elect from one end of heaven to the other, none of which occurred in AD 70. The generation alive in Christ's time did not see the fulfillment. Both John the Baptist and Christ referred to Israel in a special way as a generation of vipers, Matthew chapter 3, verse 7, chapter 23, verse 33, an evil and adulterous generation, Matthew chapter 12, verse 39. This wicked generation, Matthew chapter 12, verse 45. Wicked and adulterous generation, Matthew chapter 16, verse 4. Faithless and perverse generation, Matthew chapter 17, verse 17. Evil generation, Luke chapter 11, verse 29, and so forth. That generation, Israel as a whole in unbelief and rebellion against God and his word, will continue until all is fulfilled. That will be when they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10. Surely this is the second coming, with Christ visibly returning to earth in power and great glory at the end of the greatest tribulation the world will have ever seen, at a time when atomic and other modern weapons could wipe out all flesh. He intervenes to rescue Israel and to stop the carnage, and a fountain is opened to the house of David for sin and for uncleanness. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 1. God says, "So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name any more. So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their God from that day and forward. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel." Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 7, verse 22, and verse 29. so all Israel shall be saved. Romans chapter 11, verse 26. And that generation of unbelief and rebellion will have passed away with the fulfillment of the Matthew chapter 24 prophecies.